Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. We're here at our mobile studio at North Hills Country Club. They certainly know how to get ready for the holidays. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all of you. And this is some tree, isn't it? And we have some show coming up. We're going to take a look at the recent Golf Association of Philadelphia Awards. The GAP Player of the Year, also the GAP Senior Player of the Year. That's getting to be a habit. And we'll have our teed-off panel talk about the recent match between Phil and Tiger. That's next, right here on a holiday edition of Inside Golf. Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirstteephiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. By the Haverford Trust Company. Quality is in our DNA. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.
When I got back from the Gulf War, I was afraid to leave my house for 5 years. Clearview Hope and Renee Powell saved my life.
When I started Clearview Hope, I wanted to do all that I could to help our nation's women military veterans.
Renee, with golf, you have empowered all of us, and we just cannot thank you enough.
The best stories end in thanks. Share your story at ThanksPGAPro.com.
The First Tee of Greater Philadelphia, where golf is more than a game.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. As promised, we're going to take a look at some recent award winners at the Golf Association of Philadelphia Award Ceremony. It was held at Overbrook Country Club. And the Player of the Year, well, it's the second time he's picked up that honor from Lulu, Michael Brown Jr. Here's Marty Emino of the Golf Association of Philadelphia.
There is not a better feeling in golf than pulling off a shot with the pressure on. Michael R. Brown Jr. did just that on a grander scale en route to his second William Hyman III Player of the Year award.
So I'd like to congratulate Michael R. Brown Jr. on winning his second William Hyman III Player of the Year.
Brown entered the 2018 season off some quiet years, but with thoughts from new swing coach Scott Jurgelevich in tow, he started to find his groove mid-summer. The highlight being a thrilling come-from-behind victory in the 116th Joseph H. Patterson Cup at Golf Mills. That win put him squarely in the Player of the Year race.
Well, it had been 8 years since I won a GAP major, so I don't want to say that I tee it up not thinking I can win, but logically speaking, there's no reason for me to think I'm going to win. I played the round that I hoped I'd play, and every time I'm behind, I have a plan, and it almost never comes to fruition, and this time it did. So I hit 3 wedges close on 3 consecutive holes and made birdies there, and that was really the first time I started thinking about winning. I just know from playing in these tournaments that down the stretch it's tough to not fall back. So there was a good chance that the score was going to move backwards, and it did. And I figured if I could pick up 1 or 2 more, I might be in that neighborhood. So, yeah, I was hanging on for dear life, but I was especially the last few holes, but I was pushing hard in the middle of the round.
With one POY event remaining on the calendar, Brown trailed 2017 Player of the Year Matt Matari of Saucon Valley by 34.5 points. He needed a top 5 finish in the Middle Atlantic Amateur, an event Matari did not play in, to earn the title. The 45-year-old Brown, a Lulu member, would finish the 72-hole Middle Atlantic Amateur at 3 over par and in a tie for 4th. He overcame some uncharacteristically high numbers throughout the 4 days.
I was nervous from the first shot to the last shot, and you know, I wanted to win the golf tournament, but that wasn't on my mind, to be perfectly honest with you. To be that close and to not win would be a real tough thing for me to swallow. So yeah, there were plenty of mistakes I made during that week, but I did play a lot of good golf in the middle of the tournament and kind of hung in there, and couldn't be happier that it went that way, because I would have been devastated if it went the other way.
He is only the 5th player since 1990, when the Player of the Year award was created, to win more than one.
I'm ecstatic and very grateful. Winning in 2010, I was new to GAP for the most part. I'd been a couple years in. I'd reinstated in 2007, so I really didn't understand what that meant at the time. Learned a lot about GAP, learned a lot about the history, and got an appreciation for how good the players are. I have a new appreciation for what it takes to win an amateur event, and to win Player of the Year, I certainly realize how difficult it is now.
The Maple Shade, New Jersey resident is known for his meticulous preparation and course management. He has a new goal for 2019.
I want to win the Grand Slam. I want to win the Philadelphia Amateur. That's my, that's what I'm looking forward to next.
An amateur victory by Brown would put him in elite company. He would be just the 2nd player to win the career Grand Slam. The other, Chris Lang of Overbrook.
Thanks, Marty. Coming up next here on Inside Golf, we'll meet a gentleman who has been a 9-time winner. That's right, 9 times. Chip Lutz has won GAP's Senior Player of the Year award. We'll take a look at his accomplishment, the latest, next on Inside Golf.
Everyone knows the 5 senses.
But what if we told you?
There's more. An elusive sensation.
Coaxed out only under ideal circumstances.
We can't fully describe it, but you'll know it.
When you feel it.
We call it the ultimate driving machine.
Take advantage of exceptional lease and finance offers today.
Everyone is looking for something. Consistency. Quality. Peace of mind. Found. The Haverford Trust Company.
Welcome back. Inside Golf now continues from North Hills Country Club in front of our holiday tree. Now it's time to meet a gentleman who has won not once, but 9 times the GAP Senior Player of the Year award. You know, you win it once, that's something. To win it 9 times, like Chip Lutz, that is something special. Once again, here's Marty Emino.
True gentleman, Chip Lutz.
For Chip Lutz, 2018 was a year of personal challenges. Yet amidst a broken heart, he managed to record his 9th straight Senior Player of the Year.
Thank you, Glenn.
The 63-year-old Lutz dealt with a pair of tragedies in the beginning of the year. His brother Wedge and mother-in-law Betty Spatz both died.
Bonnie's mother was, downward spin for the last year and a half, and she passed away June 14th at the age of 88. So we kind of expected that to happen, but it was really my brother's passing that was the most difficult. He actually died June 1st, so that preceded my mother-in-law's passing by 2 weeks, and that was just really, it was very difficult for the family. He was 64, and he just, died too young. It made it, a challenge for us and challenge for me to really stay focused and even think about golf at that point. So he gave me some strength to carry on and do the things I had hoped to continue with, and we'll miss him dearly.
Lutz took advantage of his limited competitive opportunities. Locally, the Ledge Rock member advanced to the semifinals of the Brewer Cup before falling. Internationally, he again competed in the British Senior Open before registering another stellar finish in the British Seniors Amateur, where he tied for 4th.
This year's experience at the British was just like no other. I had 18 of us all total over with me, and it was held at St. Andrews this year. And I managed to get on the leaderboard through 9, so it was 3 under par through the turn, and held on to that through the back 9 and finished at 69 for my first round. And then unfortunately I had a bad start and a disastrous back 9 on the second round. But I managed to have a beer from the jigger on the 17th road hole and walked my way over the Swilken Bridge and enjoyed the finish, and knew it'd probably be the last Senior Open I'd probably play in.
Back stateside, Lutz made another spectacular push in the U.S. Senior Amateur. He advanced to the semifinals before bowing out to eventual champ Jeff Wilson of California.
That was another, special run, but came up short. That was my 4th semifinal appearance in as many years as I've played in this event, winning it just once at Hidden Creek. But it nonetheless was pretty satisfying to be able to get that far with such little golf being played this year.
Lutz, who lives in Reading, Pennsylvania, remains reflective when it comes to his future.
I'm hopeful to be able to continue, I think, at this point. Try to think of other things I'd like to do, and, whether it's fishing or doing things with my hands or whatever, I don't know. I always think I should be doing something different, but my wife continues to tell me as long as I'm healthy and it remains an important part of my life, that why not just keep on going. So I'm not sure. I have to rethink that every time I get to the off season and have a little time to contemplate and think about where I'm going, but I'm not sure exactly what else I do with all my time.
Whether Lutz decides to make a run at a remarkable 10th consecutive Senior Player of the Year or not, his legacy is already written. For the Golf Association of Philadelphia, I'm Marty Emino.
Congratulations, 9-time winner, Chip Lutz of Ledge Rock. All right, stay with us. There's been a lot of talk about the recent match, Tiger and Phil. Well, our teed-off panel gets into a discussion about it right here on Inside Golf. Either putt it, mark it, or concede the hole. And if he had conceded, the match is over. But what was your, were you underwhelmed?
Well, unlike Harry, I did not have high expectations. I had low expectations.
And welcome back to Inside Golf. Time now for our teed-off panel. We are at the Bluebell Inn right on Skip-Pack Pike. The Bluebell Inn, this is hard to believe, it's been around for almost 275 years. Right here, Skip-Pack Pike. And they're going to have a big anniversary in January 4th. Of course, the holiday times, you got a great atmosphere, menu, food, the best in Montgomery County. It's, well, here's the website, bluebellinn.com. That's the place to go. Find out about what's in store for the holidays and that big anniversary party, 275 years. Let's meet our panel, none of which was around when the Bluebell Inn opened, I don't think. We'll maybe have to find out. Harry Mays is back with us. It's been a while, Harry, since we saw you.
Good to be here.
You're a big podcaster now, right?
Right. New world. No
New
more
world?
radio. Not for now.
That's where it's
on
going.
hold. Yeah, podcasts.
All right.
Derailed on iTunes.
Okay. And Quinn Spitzer? returns.
Hi, Harry.
For another segment of Teed Off. Quinn, of course, the president of the Golf Association of Philadelphia, and our old buddy, our mainstay, Mr. Joe Logan.
Good to be here.
He is responsible for myphillygolf.com. All right, full disclosure, we're going to talk about the match. Phil, Tiger, you did not see it.
I didn't.
But you're opinionated.
But I always have an opinion with little information.
Okay. Well, you probably have a lot because everybody's talking about it. Joe did see, Harry did see, and I only saw a little bit of it. It's part of my schedule, my retirement schedule. But anyway, for those of you who did see it, reaction from Mr. Mays first.
I was underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed?
Underwhelmed. I had a lot of high hopes for this event. Neither player played well. Nobody could make any putts. There wasn't any drama until Tiger chipped in on the 17th green, and then they go to this sort of this hokey extra hole thing, and eventually Phil wins the $9 million. And I saw somebody tweeted, and it kind of summed up the whole event. You know you've made it in golf when you can shoot 76 and win $9 million. That kind of summed up the whole event to me.
Is that what he shot? I was looking for the
I don't
final
know, but that's
score.
what it was.
I don't
pretty
think they
close.
released it, right? And of course, with match play, you're giving putts.
Yeah.
Phil was generous near the end because he didn't want the match to end with Tiger missing a 4 or 5 footer, right? Is that a new version of concession?
Yes, it is. For $9 million, I'd have let him, twist in the wind and miss it.
Yeah, Walter Hagen would have said, either putt it, mark it, or concede the hole. And if he had conceded, the match is over. But what was your, were you underwhelmed?
Well, unlike Harry, I did not have high expectations. I had low expectations, and it met those expectations. The golf, as Charles Barkley said, was lousy. The conversation
Coming from somebody who probably knows a thing or two about lousy golf.
There was no real banter between Tiger and Phil. What little there was forced, and as the match wore on, and it was close, and the fact that they were playing for $9 million became painfully obvious to everybody. Tiger reverted to his normal self and put his head down and walked straight forward and said nothing. And Phil just sort of shuffled along, smiling and, like he does.
Right. Well, I have some thoughts on both of what you said, but let me hear the opinion of a non-viewer.
I'm going to tell you why I didn't look at it. First of all, it was a mini protest over the pathetic performance for both of them at the Ryder Cup. And that says a little bit about who should be playing, should be the best golfer or the biggest names. The second thing is I don't think that big money golf, big betting and the like, is necessarily good for the sport. The side bets, the 100,000 here, 100,000 there, that's not what golf's all about. So for both of those reasons, I chose not to watch it and instead watch my alma mater, Virginia, lose another football game as usual.
All right, you were just equally disappointed there. I'm
Exactly.
Well, apparently the PGA Tour stepped in and limited the side betting. That's why there wasn't more side betting. They apparently had.
So the first hole when Phil put up 100 and Tiger doubled it to 2, whether he'd make a birdie, and that was the only side bet?
No, there was like 3 of every par 3. I think they had it closest to the pin, right? Which Phil won a few of those. Yeah. But there could have been a whole lot more, but the PGA Tour evidently curbed it.
On the point you made about the banner wasn't much, my only reaction to that, well, what did you expect? I mean, if you take two guys that are French speaking and expect them to all of a sudden speak perfect English, it's not going to work. They're not the best combination for banner. A lot of Phil's has always been forced, and I get it. Tiger just refuses to. There's no banner with the guy, and it was bound to happen. They were in a position to basically be themselves, which is not good for banner, right?
I knew it was going to be a problem after they teed off on the first hole and they both walked off the tee, and they looked at that point like they didn't have a lot to say to each other already. And I thought, 3 hours of this. What are they going to talk about? Right. And it was kind of forced. And what happened then was the 24 other people hosting the thing.
Was it only 2 dozen?
Suddenly felt compelled to fill dead air. And they did.
That's bad on the first hole.
Yeah.
When they got to start thinking about what are we going to do now. Right. To your point, Quinn, though, about they weren't really coming off a good Ryder Cup. They haven't been coming off a good anything. Phil Mickelson didn't have a top 10 finish since back in May. He was lucky to his friend Jim Furyk that he was even in the Ryder Cup, where both he and Tiger went over, right? Tiger got hot down the stretch of the tour season and won actually in Atlanta, and there was a lot of hype over that. But he's not the same guy he was either. And there was a big question as to, well, will he ever be the same guy? So they weren't the two best picks to begin with.
Well, yeah, and again,
for good golf.
If you were picking them for good golf, you'd pick two other players. If you were picking them because they're the big names, obviously they're the big names. But Joe makes an important point, and that is, if you're picking them to get the big personalities, they weren't the guys either. A person like Jason Day, there are some big personalities on the PGA Tour, people that go out there and you immediately gravitate to them. They're funny, they're energetic, they're entertaining. Those two guys are not.
Along that point, what if they had picked Ian Poulter? He certainly would have been more easy to watch and listen to than Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods. But yeah, that wouldn't have not sold, I don't think, on the day after Thanksgiving in that situation. Okay, so where do you go from here? I mean, you know, the Skins match was great.
I used to love that.
When you used to watch four guys playing in Arizona Friday after Thanksgiving. It went on for how many years? 10 years and more. Trevino had a hole-in-one. I just watched that the other day. And Big Herman was there and picked him up.
Fred Couples did a few of those, right?
Yeah. But where does it go from here? Is that, do you bring back a Skins game? Or do you go one-on-one, mano-a-mano with, say, today's stars, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Jason Day? What do you do, if anything?
I don't think there's a limit to the people they can get to do this. I think the element of this that we have to look at and realize, whoa, there's something there, was the gambling. I'm not talking about Tiger and Phil gambling against each other. I'm talking about people watching it on TV and gambling on whether some, you know, they can call, you know, on the internet or whatever.
Is he going to make this putt?
Is he going to make this putt? That, I think, drove this as much as anything else, and I think that, as much as anything, will be the future of these matches. You know, if you get Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, okay.
Do you like just the concept of doing something again over that weekend or whatever weekend?
I think anytime you can go ahead and put golf in the forefront, and you can get people viewing golfers, seeing them hit their best shots and that's great for the game. Doing a Skins game probably be much more my preference than the mano-a-mano, but anything that goes ahead and gets golf some presence, particularly over holiday weekend, is really good.
Yeah, the Skins game would be great. What would have been great, though, is when Charles Barkley ripped their play, they should have called him down and said, all right, next tee, Charles Barkley, double bogey or less, here's the odds, and put up some money, because he loves the gamble, too. That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
You know, can he make a 6?
My money is against Charles.
Yeah, right.
Even if it's a par 3. But, hey, you know, it's worth maybe trying it again. Go in there and fine-tune it and come up with a better idea. My prediction is they will. Somebody, Turner or whoever, is going to do it again.
You didn't even mention the fact that they are refunding all the money. Because
the technical problems?
Yeah.
That's for the lawyers to figure out.
So it turned out to be a pretty good value, for me anyway.
A freebie.
Do you really think it was technical problems, or just it wasn't enough buys that they decided to just give it away?
Well, I don't know. You know, maybe we'll never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. The match. We will be back next year, mark my word. We'll be back in a moment with more of Inside Golf. Stay with us.
Located in Bluebell, just a short drive from Plymouth Meeting, Bluestone Country Club offers a setting that's close at hand but feels like a world away. Bluestone offers a championship caliber golf course, practice facilities including a large driving range, separate chipping and putting areas, and a staff of PGA professionals. At the Country House at Bluestone, you'll find excellent food, superb service, and an outstanding setting. Their expert staff will assist in planning your next event, whether it's a wedding or simply a luncheon, dinner, or cocktail party. Check out Bluestone's variety of membership options. Much more than a golf course, Bluestone is a community.
Congratulations to you, our members, for making it a great year. We are now at an all-time high of 600 members.
Things are on fire here in Montgomery County.
The Expo Center, Legoland, and the 50-plus golf course. We have so much to be proud of in Montgomery County.
One of the key components of our county's success is our first-class 75 hotels.
We had 2.4 million visitors just to our Parks Trail historic site here in the county, and we can't wait for those numbers to continue to grow.
We had the Philadelphia Orchestra come to Monco, March 21st in 2019, and back again in 2020.
Safe campaign, Embark Momco. The National Golf Show has extended its run in Momco until at least 2022.
1.6 billion, that's with the B, billion, was generated from the travel industry and tourism and supported 20,000 jobs in Montgomery County, which is 4.1% of all employment in Montgomery County.
We have everything that Philadelphia has right here in Montgomery County. I'm just proud to support an organization like Valley Forge that helps us promote that, helps us celebrate that, and brings us all together again.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. Next week, Inside Golf will introduce you to the Junior Player of the Year and also GAP's Super Senior Player of the Year. Hope your holiday spirit continues. We'll be back to toast the holidays again next week here on Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue, and remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. See you next week here on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirsttphiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. By the Haverford Trust Company, quality is in our DNA. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.